We're just talking about a lot of things that we tend to do.
Really? Okay, I've got a birthday dedication, and it says, happy birthday to our loving dad, Mr. D.E.K. Nyahe, who is the Bezo Pando Technical Institute. It's from your wife, Mrs. Felicia Nyahe, administrator of Pando Secondary School, and your children. You're the best dad, and we love you, Daddy. It's from God's Way at Mafe at Diduma in the Volta region.
Oh,
if it's your birthday today, enjoy it. We wish you a happy, happy, happy birthday.
All right.
Roland, let me read this because it says you never read my messages. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if you see and read this from Ronald Meyer. Ronald, oh, Charlie.
Ronald.
It's not my fault. Okay,
Ronaldo.
well, I'm not putting the blame on anybody, but sometimes the messages are, like a lot. And I'm not discouraging you by this. I'm not asking that you shouldn't send me messages. Please do send messages. I'll read them. I promise. Roland, let's see what paper.
Well, we have front page of the Daily Gun has a story about Baba Kamara and a picture there of Baba Kamara, the National Security Advisor, and TB Joshua of SCOAN. And bombshell, apparently Al-Qaeda attack real, says National Security Advisor. And for all the news that we're saying, we decide not to pay heed to TB Joshua. He will just, let's say the thing happens this week. Today is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So maybe it happens on Saturday. Sunday, he will just do a service. I told all Ghanaians that they should be careful, but they didn't listen. Just pray. They will just be praying for us. Because that time the thing has happened. He does prediction. He has predictions. And sometimes the things do happen.
Are these prophecies or predictions? You're going into another realm right now.
Okay, prophecies.
Just do the headlines.
And then we have Ghana in crisis, Nanado declares, and then 3.6 million Ghana City Smarties deal stripped. All right. So look.
Hey. Okay, no, I was going to do the graphic, but I saw something. This is the Ghanaian Times newspaper. EC agrees to validate register. This word, validate, could mean different things, so we'll touch on the story a bit. GES orders withdrawal of occultic book, 137 people still on death row. Court directs government to publish details of bus rebranding contracts. And President charges polytechnics to stick to core mandates. These are the headlines on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Back page, midwives lauded for reducing maternal deaths. Internal auditors discuss obligations. Let's start with the headline that has got some validation in there. It's a word that is widely used in Ghana today. This story says that the Electoral Commission has accepted to undertake a validation exercise to clean up the voters' register to avoid any dispute during the 2016 general elections. Hajia Sahadat Umaiga, the Commission's member in charge of the Upper West region, has disclosed. She said the exercise to be undertaken as part of the exhibition of the register and the limited registration exercise from April 28 to May 5 would enable the Commission to come out with a clean and credible register for the election. So if this will be done during the exhibition exercise, then it's the same exercise that you have to go and cross-check if your name is in there. Otherwise, you can grab the paper and continue to read. If this validation is what some members are calling for, if this is the old one that we all know. Let's touch a bit about the 137 people who are still on death row. It says total of 137 people, comprising 134 males and 3 females are currently on the country's death row awaiting execution. Out of the number, 7 are foreign nationals and 130 are Ghanaians. You know that Amnesty International is calling for us to scrap this whole death sentence in total, but you can continue to read the story there. All right, that's it for the story that I will take a look at in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Roland?
So we have front page of the Daily Graphic. We have these stories. MPP launches election 2016 fundraising campaign, and you see Nanado raising a couple of the scratch cards in there. They are in various denominations, I suppose. And then we also have my government's mandate will be renewed during election 2016 due to the impressive record of my government. A story attributed to President John Dramani Mahama. You have a picture there of the president unveiling a plug of a 2-story office complex for the Achimansa District Assembly. But the main story getting the main spread on the front page is provide full disclosure on MMT buses branding. Court orders Ministry of Transport. Back page, we also have female community police assistant complete training at Winneba in the central region. All right.
Okay. Let me take the Chronicle newspaper, but before I touch on the Chronicle, there's a story in the center spread of the Ghanaian Times. It says ex-staff of Bets and Debts Registry still draws salary. The Public Accounts Committee has given a 2-week ultimatum to the Bets and Debts Registry to report to the police a case in which an officer who has left the registry continued to receive salaries. The name of the officer was not mentioned for security reasons. So details of that in the Ghanaian Times. On to the Chronicle now, front page. Takwa roads patched at night to welcome Mahama. Mahama's appointments bizarre, says Nanado. Driver's mate jailed 48 years for robbing and raping banker. That story is in the center page of the newspaper, so we're going to go right there and read a bit of it for you in the Chronicle newspaper of today. Okay, so it says that a driver's mate who robbed and raped 2 bankers at Nungwa in 2 separate operations has been sentenced to 48 years imprisonment by an Accra Circuit Court. The convict, Benjamin Akwe, pleaded guilty to the charges of conspiracy to commit crime, to wit robbery and robbery leveled against him in both cases. The court presided over by Abuaje Tando convicted Benjamin to 24 years each in both robbery cases, but acquitted and discharged him of conspiracy, explaining that he could not have conspired with himself. There's a lot more with this particular story, but that's good news, because if you do wrong, you've got to be punished equally. And in this case, he did great wrong. He pleaded guilty in that charge as well. You can read a lot more of the stories in the Chronicle newspaper of today. Roland.
Front page of the Today newspaper apparently has a story. Today newspaper says, after today's expose, government moves to build classrooms for MEPE, RCJHS. You have a picture there of Deputy Minister of Education, and I believe the MP for the area. Should be. Oh, you have the blocks there, and they've started digging the foundation to make sure they get a school, good school for the MEPE, RCJHS. Man chops off brother's hand over mattress. And this is how the story reads. It says a 24-year-old man, Kwabinensia, domiciled in Sakum in the Ahafo South District of the Shanti region, has chopped off his left hand of his younger brother, or has chopped off the left hand of his younger brother, Kwabna Machi, following a misunderstanding over a mattress. And apparently he's on the run.
Mattress.
Mattress that we sleep on. We have the Enquirer. Apparently they've been speaking to a soldier who seems to think that we have too many Chinese weapons in our armory as a country. I guess speaking in context of the looming threat of terrorism in Ghana. And apparently the story seems to suggest that Chinese weapons are not good. But I think the Chinese have fought some wars in their history. We've been able to be successful in some. So I'm wondering. We are even going to space. Ghana, we don't.
Wait, we are not there yet. Please stop comparing us to China. Move on.
Only Christo Asafu.
Roland, move on.
We're not even trying. Anyway, AMA commercial drivers on collision course, and then lawyer Sosu urges protection for street children. And I know Mamavi has a lot more idea about this very story. Mamavi, what was it about?
It was a day, to observe, a day put aside for us to observe streetism, and he himself is coming from that. You know his background, right?
He's a street child.
Yes, he was held out by a church. Yeah, so he campaigns. This is a continuous campaign for him.
Lawyer Susu?
Yeah.
Francis,
yeah.
That's great. He's done well for himself then.
So he advocates, and his also advocating that a lot more people should help out, you know. Because, you know, if you've been through a certain
did he
situation...
grow on in Accra? Which streets?
So, okay, fine. It looks like we have to do a piece on him then, because I thought that you knew the story.
I don't know his story.
Okay,
I know that he's a human rights lawyer.
Yeah, he is. So a lot of the things that he does is coming from...
his background.
He's coming from a place which is real, and that's why he's real. He takes on a lot of human rights cases.
Because he knows their story.
Yeah.
And tries to empathize with them.
Yeah, the fact that you're out of it doesn't mean that it's over.
Yeah.
It means that there's somebody else that situation that you used to be.
Yeah, we all have testimonies like that. The fact that you're out of it doesn't mean that it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, there are millions of people in that, in those predicaments.
Yeah. So for him, this is, you know, like a personal call, and it's a passionate role that he's in.
So we hope that you get empowered. We'll also help you as much as we can.
And I pray that you go to Parliament. I mean, you should be in Parliament. Let's do the new Crusade and Guide newspaper. $3.6 million Bass branding scandal. Smarties hot again as court orders full disclosure. This was the biggest story, if you like, for the greater part of, you know, like mid-morning to a bit of the late afternoon yesterday here in the country. Businessman dragged to court but challenges fraud charges. NPP launches recharge cards. Reverend Frimpong receives honorary doctorate degree from University of Illinois. That's another story making the front page of the new Crusade and Guide newspaper of today. Roland, you have another paper to look at? Do you? All right. Otherwise, we'll straight away turn our attention to 0560 800,000. That's our WhatsApp number to read a lot of messages that have come through. And I think that the trick for some people now is to start with Mamavi. You never read my messages because you know that then I'll open it. Okay, but the message says, "Good morning, Mamavi and Roland. I hope you guys are perfect. Have a perfect night. I'm inviting you guys for a free tour at Wechiao Hippo Sanctuary." Did I mention that?
Yeah, right? Wechiao.
Okay, because I want to know you guys physically, and that's from Abudi. So tell us, is it like an all expense paid trip? Where exactly is this place, Roland?
Wechiao, I know it's is it Upper East or something?
Okay, so this is Upper West.
Upper West.
Upper West. Tell us how much of the cost you're taking up, and then we can arrange and be there. This message says, the way AMA does is not good because last year in June, they did the same demolition at Agboboloshi. This caused many people jobless, and the very person you're blaming it on the president. Adam Rashid from BIMC in the northern region sending us that message. This one says, please allow Roland to flow because his crazy interruptions add much value to my cherished breakfast show for the whole year. You two are awesome. Really?
Yeah, that's true.
You like the things that he's saying? Okay, yeah. Go on, Roland. Go on.
All right. Let me review this again. We have too many Shinjin weapons in our armory. It's a past paper. I know the cameraman wants to take. It's a past paper.
Okay, this one says, I hope the Ministry of Defense and all involved will bring our military personnel out of their camps to guard our weak borders rather than serving as reinforcers to the police when the situation is getting out of hand. Let's get them working. Maintenance of peace will not amount to military rule. Good morning. That's from Yao in Kumasi.
That reminds us. We keep telling you that because of all that has happened the last 12 hours, for which we're focusing on the show this morning, please, if you know you live in a border town and you think that this is real, that your town, because it's close to the border, is so porous, and so you have entry of people left, right, center from the sub-region. Give us real stories on our WhatsApp platform. 0560 800,000 is the number. There's so much we would want to read from you.
Okay, because, you know, this is the information that we've received, that the Information Services Department has begun a 2-week terror alert campaign across the Volta region in respect of recent reports of possible terrorist attacks on Ghana. The terror alert crusade is being done alongside education campaign on the national budgets. 5 mobile cinema vans have been deployed to all districts in the region to sensitize the public on the need to report strange people and characters to the police and traditional rulers. This was contained in the press release signed by Mr. Cephas Agor, who is the Regional Information Officer, who says the teams would hold public forums and show audio visuals to help the public appreciate the content of the national budget. So what we are asking here on the AM show today is if you've spotted any of these vans and the messages that have come across, let us know. You can send us a WhatsApp message on 0560 800,000. We'll touch base with our voter regional correspondents. But up next here on the show, we have to make way for Benedict Owusu Dankwa, who's got all the details in sports. There were some actions yesterday, and even though Manchester United failed over the weekend, we seem to be doing well in the FA Cup, if you like. But Kobe Bryant,
you have to take solace in the things that I know.
All you basketball lovers, please give us a break. He's playing his last game sometime today.
I think
Benedict,
he has. He scored 60 points.
America and Ghana time is not the same. For us today.
He scored 60 points in the last game. He's retired now. And then he says that it's all now coming back to him. He's not getting into the reality of it. So.
I feel like he'll go back. We've seen a lot of them retire and then jump right back. Yeah,
for a game or two.
Yeah.
Sometimes nostalgia, right? We're taking a break. When we come back, we're talking basketball, we're talking football, UEFA Champions League as well. So do stay on.